Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Voices of Impact. I'm your host, Veena Ramaswamy, executive coach and founder of Beautifully Empowered Coaching and Consulting. This show is all about real leadership, real transformation, and the stories behind the executives, shaping the future with both strategy and heart. So, in today's conversation is one I've been truly excited for because we're exploring the space where tech, creativity, and humanity converge. So, my guest today is someone whose career sits exactly at that intersection. So, Courtney Trudeau, Managing Director at Publicis Sapient, so award-winning technologist and visionary strategist. So, she's a leader who has spent more than 25 years transforming how the world's biggest brands use data, AI, and customer experience to create meaningful impact. So, she has led enterprise scale digital transformation, built AI powered experiences, modernized data ecosystems, and guided organizations through some of the most complex shifts in tech. So what truly sets her apart is how she leads, right? With clarity, creativity, and a deep commitment to elevating women and rising talent in tech. So Courtney, welcome to Voices of Impact. I'm so honored to have you here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Of course, yeah. So a couple of questions. Yeah, you built such an impressive career, spanning over 2 decades at the intersection of, as we mentioned, data, AI, and digital experience. So, what first inspired you to pursue this path, and what continues to drive your passion for tech and innovation?
Yeah, I think like anyone coming out of college, you kind of are trying to find your way. And I was always interested in marketing. So I started my career in marketing, but I quickly realized that the future was digital. So I pivoted a little bit and got more into the engineering and the building of like experiences side of marketing. Um, and from there, it kind of grew to be more holistic in terms of technology, data, and now AI as we continue to evolve. What fuels my passion is really the fact that we are living in like the craziest time.
Right.
Like you said, like 25 years or whatever it is, I've been like the amount of change we've seen just since I started my career to now is incredible. So the fact that we get to experience this in real time, it's just amazing. And being able to continuously learn and be on the edge of that is something that definitely drives me.
Amazing. Yeah, it's all about learning and growing, as you
Yeah.
mentioned. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of personal growth, and I know just kind of keeping up to date with the latest trends and playing around with the tools. There's a difference between, like, of course, playing around with ChatGPT and all these amazing tools, but then on our topic of human connection is important. So, absolutely, I love how that motivates you, right? It's all about growth, because that's what drives real progress and real
Exactly.
results.
Yeah.
So, you worked across both agency and in-house environments with brands leading in digital transformation. So, how have those different perspectives shaped the way you approach strategy and leadership today?
Yeah, so I think I love that I've had been able to experience both because number one, working on the brand side or the business side, you really understand the inner workings of an organization and why things are the way they are, why things grow up siloed, why the business outcomes are a certain way. Versus when you're on like kind of the agency side, you have a very, agency kind of point of view where you're like, let's just go, go, go. So
Right.
marrying those two things is really important to, especially when you're helping advise and lead organizations through change management, to kind of be able to say, I've walked in your shoes. I understand what it takes. Let us help you and lead you the way, just because we know how to do this transformation, how to walk the path, and do it in a way that's effective and going to bring everyone along for the journey.
Amazing. I love how you talked about like marrying the two together because having different perspectives kind of brings you a different approach, right? A newer
Hmm.
approach, a fresh approach to especially this day and age. So
Yeah.
I love how you talked about that. Amazing. Because that's definitely very unique, right? And I know I've talked to so many leaders in this market and they don't really talk about the both agency and in-house. So I love how you differentiate yourself based on that. So amazing. Yeah. And You've also been recognized as one of the top women in tech, it looks like, in Boston, which
Yay.
is amazing.
I
Yay.
know. So fun.
Yeah. And well, congrats on that. And
Thank you.
I've spoken on so many panels. So, what does it mean to you to use your platform to inspire other women in technology?
Yeah, so I love this question because so at this point I'm going to talk about the fact that I'm a mom and I happen to have two daughters and yay, I know, and they're getting to the age they're like tweens, so a transitional age. But the fact of the matter is, I've always felt like I want to be the example I want them to see in the world, especially in today's world. There's always a lot of controversy surrounding the corporate world and how women can make an impact. And one of the things I've done a lot of research on it, one of the biggest things that helps inspire other women is seeing people that they can attain to, seeing people that look like them in positions that they want to achieve. So it's been really important to me to not only for my obviously for my two daughters, but for in an industry that is very male driven to kind of make an impact and try to use the forum to showcase how we as a collective, society can, accept all genders no matter what you are and, make an impact in every sort of workforce.
Right.
So yeah.
Now, I love that. And I love how you talked about your mom. You just kind of lit up.
I know. I'm like, hi,
Yeah.
mom. I
Yeah, I
know.
love
It's just, and
that.
it's so important to set a good example for
Exactly.
your children, no matter what it is you do. It doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home mom or
Right.
if you're in the workforce, but showing them through your actions is just the best way you can show them
Mhm.
how to become a good human, you know?
Right. Yeah, I love how you touched on that. It's just, I think that's the real motivator and driver of all women, I think,
I
is
think so.
I love how you said, like, whether you stay at home or not, because I know, like, as women executives, we're kind of like, oh, we should always be like striving and always like be a high achiever. But all stay-at-home moms out there, you're also an inspiration. My own mom was a stay-at-home mom, but I learned so much from her. And loving how you talked about it's the same mission that I have, which is kind of bringing in more leaders and role models because I didn't have like a huge role model growing up either. So I also was, talking on panels and tech just to kind of share these insights. So I'm so glad that you brought that up. And I'm sure you're a great mom already, and I'm sure that your both of your daughters and kids will watch this and listen to this.
I will
So
make
they'll be
them.
proud. Yes, yes, that's amazing. Yeah, but I'm sure they're proud, kids with a proud mom. So I love that. Yeah, so this is great already. Very great conversation. So getting into the data AI part. So you lead at the intersection of marketing, data, and technology. So how do you see AI transforming the customer experience and the role of marketing technologists in the next 3 to 5 years?
How will it not transform? This is
Yeah.
the question. So I think, I mean, you've seen if you read the industry trades, it is and already transforming how we think about marketing and how we connect with our consumers. So I think a couple things are going to happen. I do think there is a big opportunity. Number one, everyone's talking about making sure you have your data foundation in order because that's how you're going to be able to take advantage of the agentic capabilities that are out there. But what I see is the fact that a lot of the capabilities are going to move closer to the data. So if you store your data in a cloud data warehouse, you're going to have an agentic layer that sits on top of that. And then you're going to be able to plug into different applications, whether it be a email marketing platform or some sort of other commerce platform, or if, just in general, media, that sort of thing. So I do see capabilities becoming merged with this agentic layer. And then surrounding that, while we're getting to a point where agentic and AI is going to make us more productive and efficient, we're going to be able to concentrate more on that human connection. I think as the world gets more digital and you see these agents to agents doing all sorts of, all those daily tasks you don't want to have to do, you're going to find that us with all our free time, we're going to want that human connection. So there's going to be more opportunity to connect in person. And I do think a lot of brands are going to be able to take advantage of that, not in an overtly marketing way, but bringing experiences to people.
I love how you talked about that. And yeah, everywhere I go, and I'm actually an example of this as I was a marketing analyst, as I use Go High Level and for my marketing, and it's all about like agents and this and that. And I'm just like, yeah, I think we need to kind of bring in the human connection piece. And with my email marketing, I do a lot of email lists. Talking about, learning about my target audience and, just being vulnerable, having stories through LinkedIn platforms. So I think having those two put together is very important. Like have those platforms, have those capabilities, but at the same time, bring your voice and creativity as a leader, right? So taking the time to kind of really sharing your lessons out there, right? So an aspect. And yes, AI is transforming everything now. But I love how you talked about the human connection. So
Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, I think that was the next question, which you really answered, is just driving AI, leveraging AI to drive smarter, more human experiences. So I love how you talked about
Yeah.
that as well. So going into executive leadership, so back to being a mother, so as a working mom and executive, how do you model sustainable leadership and set boundaries in high demand environments?
Yeah, I know. This is like such a good question, especially in the agency world where,
Hmm.
it's like sometimes it's like cool to like work on the weekends and
Right.
like be
Yeah.
on demand with a client. So I think every job ebbs and flows. There's, high times, low times. I think it's important, number one, to know your boundaries.
Hmm.
So especially if you have children or family members, it doesn't matter what you have, you're a caretaker, you have things to do. Make sure that not only are you setting those boundaries and you're making your team aware of them, but you abide by them. And you make sure other people see that. Visibility again is super important. Like my daughter has a game. I have to be at that game. I have to be present. I will work on this later. Um, and the thing is, there might be times you have to work late or put in extra time and make sure that you do that when it's necessary, but also make sure you're setting that boundary when there's like a, unnecessary, fake deadline that someone's like kind of pushing on you. You have to make sure you're setting the stage there. And then the other thing I really think is super important is just making sure you're talking and leading with empathy. When you're talking with your teams or with your collaborators, you have no idea what is going on in their world outside of the work environment. So being super understanding, always listening, and making sure that they have what they need is how I like to interact with teams. I don't assume someone can work for me. I'm always asking what's going on, what is your workload, what's like, do you have the capacity both
Yeah.
mentally as well as time wise to get this done? So I
Mhm.
think it's important to balance both those things.
Yeah, I love that answer, especially with the, of course, visibility, right? And
Yeah.
this is a very important thing I would touch on, which is why I asked, because a lot of people come to me, and this is like the major challenge is how do I set boundaries? And it was all about blocking time, managing your time, voicing your opinion, right? Really, it comes from that self-worth piece as well, and being more visible and knowing what you bring to the table.
Hmm.
Number one, especially as women, we're kind of like we always have to be available. And
Yeah.
when I
We
talked
think
to one of
that.
my clients, she was like, "Mina, I always have to be available." And when she set boundaries, it really helped her. And
Good.
similar to you, she was also the having that agency piece to it too.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that's a very important thing. And empathy, I love how you talked about understanding their needs and not assuming things.
Right.
Absolutely, that's number one. Because I think we come across like, oh, we just assume and like, just kind of put ourselves out there and like, okay, let's just try to see where they're at. But we want to make sure that we step back and see like, wait a minute, like, do they have the capacity for this? Do they have the bandwidth for this? And not like force anything or force outcomes and make it more collaborative. So yes, empathy is a huge piece that a lot of leaders, I think it's like out of the equation at times. We want to make sure that we keep reminding ourselves, like ask questions, be curious, right? So Yeah, I love that. I mean, thank you for that great answer and for all the mothers because
Yeah,
it is a question that keeps coming up. So,
it is.
I
Yeah.
hope all the mothers are listening to this.
Hmm.
But yeah, this is amazing. So, in your view, and this keeps coming up. So, what differentiates a good leader in tech from a truly transformational one?
Mm. So I think to your so a good there's good leaders in tech aren't hard to come by, right? There's so many smart people in the world.
Hmm.
I mean, look at where we are with technology and
Hmm.
innovation. I think a transformational one is not thinking tech first.
Yeah.
They're solving problems first,
Hmm.
outcomes, value, and then using the tech and the data and the capabilities to deliver on that.
Hmm.
And that's not an easy thing to do because, I work with a lot of tech people and a lot of engineers, and we immediately dive into that solution architecture diagram. And I'm like, what just happened? I'm like, this
Right.
is awesome. And I'm so glad you figured this out. I'm like, so what can the client do at that point? And they're like, huh,
Right.
well, and you're like, well, did we solve their problem? So
Exactly.
you have to bring it back. And sometimes it is hard to think that way,
Right.
especially if you're a truest technologist. But that's why
Hmm.
we have a balance of power, and that's why
Exactly.
the partnership exists between
Right.
more of a technology data strategy person and then more of a hardcore engineering person.
Yeah. Oh, this is like right on. It was just right on. Yeah, I agree with this
Good.
because I've been in the tech world and then I became a transformation leader, and it's two different worlds, but how, like you said, marry each other. And it's just that huge balance that, yeah, transformation is all about value and
Hmm.
solving the problem. That's what they're looking for now, especially to be seen and going into your next level of leadership promotion while using the tech as like or AI as like a leverage.
Hmm.
But doing the other way, I guess it depends. If it's a very like product focused, it's
Yeah,
possible. But when you have to look at the
true.
bigger picture and
Hmm.
you're dealing with the C-suite or,
Hmm.
the vision aspect of it, it's very different, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've talked to a lot of directors of engineering that maybe are pivoting to the VP level and so on, is like they're aware, but it's like your mind's not used to it. Like you're automatically like, okay, let me go to the technical,
Yeah.
the operational, right? So I think training people on these and learning how to balance it, and yeah, it's a major challenge, but I loved how you kind of looked at the differentiation between the two. It's a very important topic, so
Yeah.
thank you so much for that. How do you stay grounded and maintain clarity as an executive and a mom, right? Because I know there's so many out there, but who are like similar thing asking these same questions is like, like I've just been like all over the place. I get nervous, like especially when an industry is like tech, it's just like so fast paced,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I stay grounded by, using my support system, to be honest with you. Like, I do think there's a lot of stressors. I think the current, not only economy, but the industry with the state of agentic and not knowing where it's going, it's just more of the not knowing that stresses everybody out. Um, but you can always come back to your support system, like your family, my girls, spending time with them, doing like the real things, like walking on the beach, going
Yes.
to their soccer games, like focusing on the little moments really helps ground me and in what's important and why we do what we do. We do what we do. Not only do I like it and I have a passion for what I do, but like
Right.
it's also a means to end. It helps me enjoy my family. It helps us have experiences together. It helps us have a good life together. And in the end, like that's what's important. It's the connections I'm making. So it's good. I love that you asked that question because it's a good reminder for myself because it's obviously you forget about that like in the daily swirl of things, but like because it's like, it is Thanksgiving week when we're talking about this. I am really thankful for the support system I have and my family. And yeah, it's a good time to reflect.
No, I love that how you talked about family and Back to the core motivational driver is the why, right? And you know how you talked about it's not just why just means that it's not like what you're passionate, excited about, but like why do you actually want to be, you know, an executive, right? Why you want to be a mom? What does this mean? Like what does this mean to your family, right? So time freedom, you know, financial freedom, being more present with the people that you love. And like you said, this is the perfect time to talk about it and self-reflect. We've been always like, you know, hustling and grinding, but, you know, and I just wrote a post about this on LinkedIn is when have you ever, any executive just sat down and just reflected by yourself, like just be present with yourself, right? Like just sit there and breathe and slow down and because everyone's just running after meetings, right? So absolutely, right? Just taking this
Late.
time. Yeah, yeah. So it's always people that I'm talking to, and especially women. So I always tell women to just, you know, take even if it's 5 minutes to do a little bit of meditation or just like save some time to cook dinner for your kids.
Yeah.
What do they like? Understand that, you know. And a lot of ladies, they were like, "Oh my God, Mia, thank you so much." Like you said, that reminder. So very important. But thank you so much for saying sharing that and how you stay grounded. That's amazing, and it's inspiring for a lot because a lot of women are struggling out there. So absolutely, and you know, mentioning about the vision, right? The why, right? So you know, and the tech, like what is one major leadership challenge you faced that taught you a lasting lesson?
I think leadership, and it's not meant to harp on this, but I think the leadership challenge that I did face is just about kind of the barriers to entry for like a woman in the
Yeah.
corporate environment. And you feel very much imposter. You feel like you're going crazy. You feel like it's not real. Like, you know, it's almost like victim syndrome, but I'm
Right.
not comparing it to that at all. But I'm just saying
Mhm.
that I've gone through a lot where different rules or things, meeting things have happened,
Yeah.
and understanding and accepting that those things do happen and rising above has probably been the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
I haven't faced them all alone. I've had like amazing
Mhm.
women beside me, as well as amazing women in leadership, coaching and confirming that, you know, you're not crazy. This is whatever you experience, whatever you feel is definitely happening.
Yeah.
That's okay. You know who you are. You know what you bring to the table. I think you said it exactly a couple minutes ago,
Yeah.
and move forward. So like, don't let it become who you are, but
Right.
let it drive your success.
Yeah, I love that. Oh my goodness. This is a great conversation. And yes, I think a lot of women I talk to when they have imposter syndrome, it's very real. And I also
It
go
is.
through even
Yeah.
now, you know. You know, when I'm writing stuff or being visible, like should I put myself out there? It happens every time, whether you're an executive or an entrepreneur or early career at any stage. So overcoming that imposter syndrome is hard, but
Really
shifting
hard.
into a place of like back to the self-worth piece is knowing what you bring to the table, knowing your value that you are capable no matter like that noise out there, right? You're going to have people who might challenge you or judge you, but you know, you're here for a reason. And you got the role for a reason. You're a leader. When you know who you are and you're a true leader and you're putting yourself out there and you're being authentic, the right people will see that, right? And you'll find your tribe. And I know you have your support system and a lot of women out there. So, yeah, no, for sure. Thank you so much for talking about that. And it's really just knowing that because a lot of people did have mentioned to me like, "Oh my God, I got rejected," and I was like, you know, it's just nothing personal. It's nothing to do about you. It's just them. So we want to make sure that you own yourself, you own your voice, and that's what Voices of Impact is all about. So to all the listeners, this is a very, you know, amazing, inspiring conversation to listen to. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's part of the mindset shift. So that was the next question. But if you could go back and give your younger self like one piece of career advice, or even your daughter, what would that be?
I think it would be to enjoy the ride a little bit. I think, especially when you just come out of college, there's just a lot of anxiety and nervousness about how to navigate your career and like, oh my God, what's going to happen? How do I get ahead? I think you just need to trust yourself and trust again your voice and what you're doing, and know that your path will reveal itself because you don't always do what you studied in college,
Yeah,
but you find the right path for you. You just do. So just trust yourself and try to enjoy it, I think is what I'd say.
I love that. No, I mean, I feel like you're talking to me in a way.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah, no, this is great actually, advice because I went through that. I went through like three career transitions, didn't know what
See,
I was
yeah,
doing. I mean, went from like pre-med to econ to tech, and I'm an entrepreneur,
there
but
you go.
I
That's
think I just
awesome.
enjoy the ride. Yeah, I enjoyed the ride, and I tell others, and sometimes even I forget to live in the present moment. So it's been just nice connecting even now. So like I even forgot like why we're on the podcast, but it's just really great just having this conversation
That's
and
awesome. See,
yeah, just enjoying the moment, enjoying the journey. It's not always about the outcome. It's about,
mhm.
what you learn, how you're growing, who you meet along the journey. There's a lot of connections that could lead to like an amazing opportunity. You never know. But especially for women, I know we're kind of hard on ourselves as
We
women, and
are.
yeah, so there's no need to be, but having that connection, those mentor, that support system, like Courtney said, is extremely important. So no, thank you. This was great. So what before we head into the rapid fire, so if we wanted to know what's next for you, what vision or impact are you most excited to create in the next chapter of your journey, especially in 2026?
Yeah, I think I'm just really excited again about what's happening in the industry. I'm excited to see how we can use these innovations again to be more connected to that human experience.
Mm.
I'm actually excited to see like hopefully like social media falling off or
Yeah,
evolving into something that can be more fulfilling than what it is today. I know that
yeah,
seems silly, but like, I'm like,
right.
yes, let's get out of this era. Let's get to the next one. And I'm just excited to be part of the ride.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
amazing. And I do agree. I mean, things have been changing, but like social media, I mean, in a way, like some things, it's different, but at the same time, you can use it for something that's more fulfilling, like you said,
exactly.
especially like on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I've learned so much even today. Like it was just like reading through it and listening to podcasts from there, like has energized me and made me into a whole different leader, right? A very authentic
exactly.
leader. So I learned a lot, but I think just kind of educating the next leaders that social media, you can use it wisely to learn and grow and become the role model that you're meant to be, right? There's so many people that you could reach out to and connect. Courtney's definitely one of them. So if you're listening, please connect with
Please
Courtney.
do. Yeah,
Yeah, of course. And yeah, so now into the rapid fire round. So ask a few just kind of quick, short
sure.
answers. So, what's your go-to coffee order before a big
Mm,
meeting?
it's probably a latte,
Latte. Yeah.
vanilla latte, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Likewise, likewise. I love that. Yeah, no. And let's see. The one app you can't live without other than email or Slack.
Yeah, this is such a nerd alert. It's like our family calendar app. Gotta figure out where I need to be, who's carpooling what, if there's an orchestra concert, all the things. It's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. And yeah, so what is one thing people would be surprised to learn about you?
Maybe that I'm like growing up and even now, like I love to read, but not like all like industry intelligence stuff. I like to read like just stories, like,
Hmm.
all the trashy novels, all of that stuff, just like mindless things to like, I think that might be how
Nice.
you decompress, how you turn off your
Yeah.
brain a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to read. I was always in the library. Even
Me
now, it's just always
too.
like, people might call me a nerd, but you know what? I
Yeah,
love
I
it,
don't care. Yeah.
So I love that. No, we're so similar. But yeah, so for everyone listening, where can they follow you, learn from you, or stay connected with your work online?
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, definitely follow me on LinkedIn, Courtney.Trudeau. Just hit me up. And yeah, I'd definitely love to connect. You can DM me, and if you want to have a conversation, I'm happy to do so.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you, Courtney, for such a rich and energizing conversation. So, your work
Awesome.
shows that tech and humanity are not just opposites, they're partners, right?
Yay.
Like, marriage
Yeah.
partners. And the way you lead and champion others is a powerful example of what real impact looks like. So, Voices of Impact is now available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So, if today's episode moved you guys, inspired you, or expanded your thinking, make sure to follow, rate, and share. So, and to everyone listening, I want to take a moment to say thank you because I've been receiving so many wonderful notes and compliments on how much you're enjoying the show, the guests, and the depth of the insights shared. So it means the world, and I deeply appreciate every single message and listener who tunes in each week. And if you are an executive, founder, leader with a powerful story to share, just like Courtney, and you'd like to be featured on the show, reach out to me on LinkedIn to explore whether you're a great fit for an upcoming episode. So until next time, keep leading with clarity, purpose, and heart.